Hello and welcome to the paid weekly recap for the week ending August 22nd, 2025. I'm Keith Harwood, CIO of Yellow Tunnel, and also pictured as Vlad Karpel, the CEO and founder of Yellow Tunnel, and the creator of the artificial intelligence behind the predictive AI for dynamic market system. Before we get started, normal disclosures. Options involve substantial risk and are not suitable for all investors. Yellow Tunnel and myself are not investment advisors and not registered with the SEC nor FINRA. The information in this presentation is for education and information purposes only and should not be considered trade advice. And finally, myself and/or the team at Yellow Tunnel may have a financial interest in the securities presented and the trade ideas. If you have further questions about the disclosures, go ahead and pause the video here. Otherwise, we'll get into the recap for this week. So we had a choppy week, of course. So prior to the Powell speech at Jackson Hole on Friday, we had the 10-year yield sitting around 4.3 to 4.35. Near the midpoint of the range of the last few months. I mean, frankly, it has been a very stagnant 10-year yield, drifting down to 4.2, peaking at around 4.5, with ultimate support at 4.1 and resistance at 4.6. 4.4 has been that midpoint that we keep ending up bouncing back to, and this time we didn't quite make it there before falling on Friday on Powell's commentary about the Fed maybe being prepared finally to start lowering interest rates. But where we did see the bigger move was in the market. For the week leading up to Powell's speech, the market drifted lower. Risk off was the dominant theme. We pulled back to the 20-day moving average as the market started to get a little bit concerned that maybe something in that speech would cause a bigger dip. If Powell had stated that he was worried about inflation and still not ready to lower interest rates, it seems the market was ready to effectively go into maybe a falling knife mode. Now, because he didn't say that, everything that we had seen over the prior week was unwound in a day. And we went right back to the highs, briefly making new highs for the S&P 500 before stalling out just below the previous highs made just about a week before. So the market is now positioned for a potential bullish breakout as that unknown gets behind us. Where we didn't see quite the same reaction was actually in tech. So tech had the bigger pullback almost to the 50-day moving average and almost to the non-farm payrolls low. And then bounced back just above the 20-day moving average, not quite above the 10-day moving average, and certainly not back to all-time highs. So tech lagging, as we saw a lot of risk off in names like Palantir and generally in semiconductors. Now we have to keep in mind that this week we have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday after the close. A bullish NVIDIA earnings input could be the input needed to trigger a much bigger bull reaction, and a bearish NVIDIA earnings could signal that more of this rotation out of tech may be coming. And if it does happen, I would not be surprised. But if we do see a bullish NVIDIA earnings, maybe we go back to the prior protocol of simply buy tech because it works. Where we did see big bullish flow from this week was actually in small caps, which have been our laggard. We haven't been able to see small caps take the lead in this market. And on Friday, small caps took the lead. Now, we are not back to all-time highs. All-time highs were made in November of 2024, just before this 6-month chart, around 245. So we do still have some room to go before we're at the all-time highs in the Russell, but the Russell has continued to lag ever since this pullback into the start of the year through the tariff concerns. And now that rotation, as we go back into the market and we see money get reallocated, seems to be heavily focused in these small cap stocks. So while we did see that risk-off behavior, it was paired with rotation. Risk off, reducing tech exposure, now risk back on into small caps instead of tech. Will that continue? Time will tell. Small caps have had some of these bumps, but never really gotten the follow-through where it's been the dominant investment thesis. So as we continue to follow the next week or so, we may get some good clarity on that. And as we get clarity on that, we will have much more predictable ranges and much more predictable directional moves for individual names. Now we compare that with a new 6-month low in the VIX. So all of this means we had a concern, a bit of hedging, a bit of risk off, and then boom, not worried anymore because the Fed input is no longer a concern. There's an 88% chance that they lower interest rates in September. And then the new norm seems to be, all right, Fed not a concern. Now we go through only worried about tariffs and maybe US earnings. With that, I expect to see some really interesting opportunities in the near future for paid. We didn't have any last week. There were too many uncertainties, too many unknowns. And now, as things start to get a bit more predictable and we start to see some real trends starting to form, and that possibility of a bull breakout for the broad market really sets us up well. And we do expect 2 new trades this week as a result. Now, if you're looking for other opportunities, don't forget to join us in that live trading room. We'll certainly talk through NVIDIA earnings this week. We'll look at a lot of other names that are not part of the paid program. Every morning from 8:15 to 9:15 Central, 9:15 to 10:15, or maybe 10:30 Eastern, we talk through the market conditions. Vlad places a number of trades in his live trading portfolio, and you can see the results here are absolutely stunning. The live trading room continues to find opportunity, and we talk through a lot of different things that are coming up in the market for bull cases, bear cases, neutral cases, lots of great opportunities. So please be sure to join us. Morning bell again, 9:15 to 10:15, 10:30 Eastern, and closing bell from 3 to 4 Eastern. If you do have questions outside of that, you can always reach out to us via email. I'm Keith at yellowtunnel.com. Vlad is Vlad at yellowtunnel.com. So please feel free to reach out. Looking forward to a great trading week. A lot of good opportunities starting to come through here again, and a resumption of some paid trades this week now that the market direction is starting to get a bit clearer. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday morning with some signals.